Well, carefully tucked away in that health care bill today, a mandate to buy in and a penalty to opt out. Businesses would have to pay 8% of payrolls if they don't provide coverage. Individuals 2.5%. Forget the cost. Is this the part that's unconstitutional? Senator Jim DeMint, a Republican from South Carolina, he's got a great new book out, Saving Freedom. And I guess this is not part of that theme, right, Senator? What do you think of this?
No, but we talk about it in Saving Freedom. The government takeover of health care is just part of another power grab. But Neil, I'm actually amazed that the Democrats have the nerve to bring up more taxes on people, more taxes on business at a time when we're shedding jobs like we haven't in decades. It's just pretty amazing to me at how stupid they think the American people really are, because Americans are not going to buy this if they find out what it's really going to do to them.
You know, it's very interesting, Senator, because we had Donald Trump on a little while ago. For all I know, a supporter of Barack Obama. I don't know it for sure, but I do know he said in prior interviews a lot of very nice, supportive things about him, and expressed great admiration for some of his early rescues and bailouts, what have you. But when he says you got to cool it with all this tax increase stuff in this environment, what is he saying to you?
Well, we're at the tipping point where we're already a pretty negative business environment in this country. Donald Trump knows he's a businessman. He knows people are not investing because of the unpredictability now of government and the fact that the cost of doing business in America has gotten so high. We've created incentives for people to move jobs overseas at a time when we need to be going the opposite direction. We need to be cutting taxes on businesses and individuals so that businesses will create jobs and individuals will spend more money. I'm just afraid this administration really does not understand how a free market economic system works.
Let me ask you though, Senator, when I do talk to the White House officials on this, and I must posit that with no one prominent there talks to me, but I did reach the White House groundskeeper, and he said, look, what are you guys bitching about? We used to have a top tax rate of 90%, and we were well and good throughout the 50s and the 60s, and, here we are with a top rate in a lot of these states, maybe in the 50s, approaching 60%, more or less saying, that's a long way from 90%. What say you?
Well, they're talking about a personal income tax, and at the time we didn't have the highest corporate tax rate in the world, and at the time we weren't competing with the rest of the world to keep jobs here. We're in a very competitive global economy, and at this point America is making it less and less desirable for businesses to do business here, particularly manufacturers. But they're talking about so many new taxes right now, Neil, to finance this huge expansion of government that everyone is going to feel the pinch. If folks think that taxing someone who's making over $250,000 a year isn't going to affect them, it's likely to take their job away, because it's the people with small businesses that create over 70% of jobs in this country.
But the White House also says, and this is the White House chef telling me this, another key contact for me. But
you really got an inside track.
People at home are saying the White House chef doesn't talk. But anyway, Senator, another argument for what the administration's doing is we tried things your way, the Republican way, with the tax cuts and these ballooning deficits, and yeah, they might be ballooning more, but we can't make things worse. So who are Republicans to judge spending and exceeding growth targets?
Well, they can't blame the tax rates for the downturn in the economy. When Bush took office, we were in a recession. The tax cuts brought us out of the recession. It was only when the Federal Reserve and Fannie Mae basically destroyed our financial system that we fell into our current recession. So what we've seen in the past, whether it's John Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, when you're in a recession, the best thing you can do is leave more money in the private sector economy, and it tends to turn around relatively quickly. Now, we have already seen that the promises that Barack Obama made for this stimulus have proved to be false, and they're already admitting kind of cautiously that they misunderstood the economy in this country. They don't know what they're doing, Neil. In fact, I don't think they have a clue. They just think that government spending and debt and more taxes are somehow going to create a robust economy. That's never happened in our history.
All right, Senator, best of luck with the book, Saving Freedom. It's racing up those bestseller charts. Always good having you. Also, we got this alert in here from the White House that the White House chef has indeed agreed to speak with us tomorrow on this subject.
Well, good luck, Neil.
Good luck. All right, time to junk the cash.